policy, and you have global sites, are those people counted and things like that? So whose laws are they subject to, and when you're dealing internationally, are they included in AAC plans and things of that nature?
Well, if you are both, so there's like road rules. So if I'm on assignment in a country, so I'm just on a short-term assignment, then versus me. So there is, for example, at IBM Italy, IBM Japan, IBM Brazil, and I would be on their local payroll. So I would not be a U.S. employee working there. I would be subject to their local rules. Does that help?
Yes, maybe a little bit clearer. You said there's a call center, maybe in India?
Right.
But the local or the corporate offices in the U.S.?
No.
In that case, what would it be?
In that case, I would be. So I would have two alternatives. One, I could be a U.S. employee on assignment there, subject to U.S. rules, and that would be a long-term assignment, or I would pretty much resign from U.S. IBM and then be rehired by IBM India and subject to their local laws.
So those people would not be counted in your AAP plan?
Right.
While I can't speak to the quote-unquote the plan per se, what I do know is that when we implement our policy, it is a U.S. policy that applies everywhere. Now, we are sensitive to the local market with regards to what diversity means, what inclusion means, but as far as equal rights, as far as hiring policies, that is U.S.-centric, and we implement that. And we recognize that that's not always going to jive with the local culture, and we've taken our own road. And that is also true with regards to procurement policy. So, to selling. In some countries, it's acceptable to bribe. In some countries, it's acceptable to blur those lines because of the local culture. We are, not just because of U.S. law, but because we think it's the right way to go, we don't do that.
Other questions? Yes, one more, then we're out of time. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Chris. I would just like to ask this, Chris. In terms of the responsibility that you alluded to, the mandated supervisory task of, engaging the employees in inclusion types of conversations, is that tied to compensation at all? And if someone were not performing well in that area, what might some of the repercussions or the consequences be?
It is almost it's almost binary. In other words, we may not dock someone pay if they're not being inclusive. That said, it's definitely not permitted to offend in the workplace, and depending on the severity of the situation, you can get into very quickly. Well, you're out of here conversation. So it's very binary. I don't know if that's right or not, but it is. That's the way it is. We don't have as much flexibility to say, well, you're not fostering the right type of environment. I'm going to dock you 20% of your pay.
Okay, with that, I think we are finished. Thank you very much.